Man, make sure y'all can see me. Get a good look at my beautiful face. This ballerific ass, beautiful African hair, man, all that. And the black power fists and all that and the cake. Man, look, man, Still Mills, what's the deal, man? Peep game, man. We got to talk about this motherfucking Calab Plant. This nigga burnt the fuck out. I just listen. These niggas really be thinking they slick with the moves they be making and pricing themselves out. Explain fair. You just wanna, you ain't asking for much. You just want to make sure that you get what's fair. Whatever quote you said. What's fair? What's fair? And have you ever fought for multi-millions of dollars before? I don't, like I say it again, I don't like getting into people's pockets. That's not my lane. That ain't my money. That's their money. And it's just, you know, if you watching my pockets, you looking to line me up, man. I can't have that. So that's just proper etiquette you learn when you come up in a certain environment, man. They pull out money, don't get too googly-eyed over that shit, man. So I've carried that shit over with me into this flame. So I don't count people's pockets. But it gets to a point where certain shit just can't be, you have to address it. What's fair? And what are you owed? Like the biggest fight you had was when you became a champion two years ago against Uzkataki. That was the biggest, that's the biggest fight that you had thus far. And how is it that Eddie Hearn and them played Billy Joe Saunders? He was guaranteed $8 million for that fight. And we ain't even talking about the live gates and all that. And they packed 73,000 into a fucking venue, broke the American record for most people packed into a closed venue. And he was somehow played. Fam, if you shook, just say that, man. Just say that. If you shook, just say that, and it will be understandable, man. But at first, I was real sympathetic towards you or whatever, because, you know, Canelo would do some little, his team would do some gang goofy shit, and you'll be like, nah, man, I ain't going for it. And at first I was like, all right, cool. But now after this, and I go back and I look at a lot of the shit, you know, it's kind of like, bro, you making me look at you like sideways now, man. When you talk about who was that? Was it Vincent Feigenbutts? You fought him, glorified sparring session. You said, I can turn around and fight, and yada yada yada, just, you know, tomorrow. And then when they asked about Canelo, nah, man, I need a full training camp. As long as you needed a full training camp, which is understandable. Vincent is not Canelo. He's not going to give you the same dimensions as a Canelo. But then they allegedly, you know, Callum Smith. Y'all would have had equal amount of time to prep, you know, to prep for that fight. Y'all would have had the equal amount of time to prepare for that fight. You didn't want that fight. You dig? Now Saunders, you know, Saunders gets stopped. And you talking about, you know, immediately after he got stopped, you went on social media talking about, I'm not him, I'm not him, I'm not him, I'm not him. Which, all right, cool, maybe. But now that we in a position of where you got to prove that you not, you want to get what's owed to you. And you ain't asking, I ain't overpricing, but I want to make sure I get what's owed. Like, what's the biggest purse that you've made, fam? Like, put it like this. If you have a competitive fight with Canelo Alvarez, you have a controversial loss to Canelo Alvarez, or, you know, at the most you have a controversial loss. We won't even consider you winning right now. We won't even consider you winning. If you have a controversial loss to Canelo Alvarez to the point where it looks like him and Golovkin or him and Lara, that boosts your notoriety. If you have a competitive fight with Canelo, that boosts your notoriety. Rocket propels you. Motherfucker, oh shit, Calab Plant, all right, cool. People only go off of the stature. Motherfuckers who don't follow the sport like that, they only go off of the stature of who you are. And if they see you on advertisements and shit like that, like, nah, you're not, you're not a reputable name like a Canelo Alvarez. So imagine what having a competitive fight or a controversial loss can do for your career. Now, granted, you're not, like, y'all cats be killing me, man. Like, y'all are not in a position to make demands. Y'all aren't. You're talking about a dude who's been pro since he was, what, 15? And has amassed a multitude of accolades in the past 15 plus years. You have one good win on your resume, which is Jose Uzcategui, when you won your title. And you've had at least 4 fights since. 3 maybe? Subway Mike, Vincent, Caleb Truax, and I think 1 more. So what are you talking about fair? What are you talking about what's owed to you? You don't have the resume of a motherfucking Billy Joe Saunders. Why would you what makes you think you will be worth the $8 million? What makes you think that? What makes you think you were worth that, or that you're worth $8 million? I hate saying that about human life. He ain't worth it. He ain't worth it. He ain't worth it. You dig? Like, I don't like that. I don't like that. So I'm using this term loosely for the sake of the video. But I don't like that. I don't, but it is what it is. So I just got to clarify that. But what makes you think as a fighter you are worth $8 million? Like, what would convince you of that? What would convince you of they cheated, or not cheated, but they kind of wooed Billy Joe Saunders, and y'all not about to do that to me, as if you're of a higher ilk of a Billy Joe Saunders? You don't have the resume of a Billy Joe Saunders. You don't. Billy Joe Saunders has a very solid resume. You don't. Subway Mike was not it, my nigga. Like, Vincent Feigenboots is not it. That ain't the move. It's not. So how, what would be owed to you? And what's the lowest price range where it's like, nah, we can't fight, I ain't fighting you because that's, nah, I know my worth. I know my worth. So let's say you were offered $8 million to fight a Canelo Alvarez. You know your worth, and your worth is more than $8 million, even though you more than likely have never fought for a higher purse than that. Like, I just, y'all in this money shit, man, just, you could retire on $8 million on top of the money that you've made thus far in your career. You good. So when do we get past money and get to legacy, man? This is a legacy-defining fight. If you were to beat a Canelo Alvarez, I guarantee you, what, 28? You can go another 10 years and not fight as big of a star as a Canelo Alvarez. You're talking about an opportunity at pound for pound now. And being undisputed. You would pass that up just because you feel you ain't, like, come on, man. Like, all this shit is really gearing towards you looking for a way to get out of the fight. That's how it's looking. And you've been on Showbiz, the adult. I know I can beat Canelo. I'm the only one that can beat Canelo. Everybody keeps saying they're the only one that can beat Canelo. Demetrius Andrade has said it. Billy Joe Saunders has said it. You've said it. I know I can beat Canelo. Cool. Get in there and do the damn thing. Like, why is it, what's up with all the semantics? What's up with that shit, man? Like, are we gonna get this fight or not? because he already has you in the scope, man. Billy Joe Saunders got a full training camp and a ring to his benefit, the ring size of his wanting. He got that, and a full training camp. There was no excuse for Billy Joe Saunders, no excuse whatsoever. What's gonna be your? What are you doing? Like, come on, man. Like, y'all are killing me with y'all are in a position of where y'all have money. Me and my wife are planning a trip to Japan in the next year or two. You know how much choke we got to stack for that? Y'all are already millionaires, man. According to you, you fought more than, you fought for $1 million, a $1 million purse before. All right, cool. Wasn't they? But y'all are in a position to where money isn't, like, you ain't hurting for money. You're not hurting for money. So when does money stop being the issue and legacy start to step into play? If you would turn a fight like this down because you're not getting what you owe, you a fool. And that's gonna say a lot about your character. It's gonna say a lot about your character, because it's some reputables over there on the PB side of the street that you ain't fought. You ain't fought Darrell. You ain't fought even Jay Leon Love. Go down fucking David Benavidez's resume and look at all of the names on that resume you have not fought. He's about to fight your best win. And Jose Uzcategui. David Benavidez is in a position where we all want to hear all these other fighters say, everybody who was calling out Canelo, earn it. That's all we're saying. Earn it. You're in a position to, honestly, where you haven't even earned it. You have something that he wants. You haven't done nothing to earn a fight with Canelo. And the fact that you in the scope, you would pass up on it because you don't want to be robbed or whatever he said about Billy Joe Saunders and then Eddie Hearn. You have not earned a fight with Canelo, but due to the fact that you're a champion in a division that he's trying to be the first one to go undisputed in, you would pass that up. Think of everything you're passing up: a career high payday, pound for pound, and you get an opportunity to enter the pound for pound list, and you would be undisputed, making history your goddamn self. Like, this shit just it sounds like, it sounds real suspect, man. Like, you looking to price yourself out, and if Canelo can't match you on a $20 million or whatever the case may be, then you gonna go and slander him all in the in the tabloids and all that, and talk about how he ducking. That's what it's looking like this is set up to be, man. That's not a good look, homie. You have the skill to make that shit a good fight and possibly win. You have the skill to do that. Do I think you will? No. I've said that before. But nonetheless, you have a skill that still gives him some sort of headache. It takes him longer to compute you with that slick outboxing shit. It does. Cool. Go in there and do the damn thing. But I just need you to understand what you're missing out on if you was to get on some diva shit and go in the other direction. Because only a fool would turn down a fight with Canelo just to turn around and fight another Mike Lee, Subway Mike Lee Excalibur type fighter. Only a fool would do that. And somebody who ain't necessarily looking for legacy. Come on, man. You know I'm trying to get over, nigga. The fuck? Thank you. Like, only a fool would do that shit. Are you a fool? Because, I mean, what you doing, like how you moving, this shit looks suspect as a motherfucker. Just look, man, I don't want no smoke. That shit is whack, bro. You can't afford to, at this point in time, you can't afford, you've already turned down 2 or 3 contracts from him. You can't afford to fight another Subway Mike Lee. You can't afford to fight another Caleb Truex or Vincent Feigenboots. You can't afford to do that. That will be detrimental to your career. You're not gonna get a high payday from any other fight, a higher payday than the Canelo Alvarez. So even if you are able to match what Billy Joe Saunders made, you haven't made that much to where that would be noted as unfair, because you haven't put in the road work of a Billy Joe Saunders. You haven't. Even at 160, that dude has a really solid resume. John Ryder, Willie Monroe, Andy Lee, those are solid fighters. Spike O'Sullivan, those are solid wins for him. David Lemieux, those are solid wins. You have Jose Uzcategui and nobody since. I think you have had 4 fights since him, because yeah, you've had 4 fights since that fight. Hey man, come on man, like y'all dudes really be getting out. Y'all really be on some Hollywood shit. You think Demetrius Andre wouldn't kill to be in your position right now, or Charlo wouldn't kill to be in your position right now, to have a guaranteed shot at Canelo Alvarez? And you gonna trick that off because you want to make sure you get what's owed to you, or whatever you said. Man, y'all cats gotta wake up, man, and realize the error of your ways, man, because this, Hollywood shit is really gonna, you playing yourself. You gonna play yourself. There's no way you could possibly think that it's logical or plausible to turn down a Canelo Alvarez fight because you want to make sure you get what you owe. You're not worth, as a boxer, you're not worth more than a Billy Joe Saunders. Shit, a $5 million payday, that shit is worth it, because you haven't really done much outside, since becoming a champion. If you was to get your highest payday that you've gotten thus far before Canelo Alvarez, for a Canelo Alvarez fight, that will possibly be fair, because you haven't done shit as a super middleweight since you beat Jose Uzcategui. That's facts, my dude. It's facts. So humble yourself, man. Humble yourself, get in there and run that shit. Otherwise, just be another really good boxer who was scared to test himself. Peace.